Hello, and welcome to my talk show as usual. My name is Morris Mann, and the name of my show is Tell It Like It Is, and my co-host is.
Joseph Spencer.
And today we're going to do a topic that no one really actually wants to talk about. We actually don't want to talk about it, but we have to stay true to the purpose of the show, and that's Tell It Like It Is. And the name of this topic is, you guessed it, okay. So we're going to kind of discuss death, exactly, what happens when we die and what to expect. And I guess I'm going to kind of give my quick spill on it, and then I'm going to turn it over to Joe. I rarely ever fear anything, but most of us fear the unknown because none of us actually know what's going to happen to us when we leave. I mean, according to that thing called the Bible, we have a spirit. Our spirit descends into heaven when we die or go down to the bad area. That's according to the Bible. And oddly enough, animals don't have souls. So it's like, why did the animals get screwed in the deal and we get a good deal and we're the most destructive animals on the planet? You mean to tell me that the fly that I killed in 1974 is not coming back? There is no animal heaven, away from us destructive humans? I don't think it's fair, but it's not for me to call the shots or judge it. But I'm going to turn it over to Joe and get Joe's opinion on what he thinks is going to happen when he kicks the bucket.
Some religions say that you come back as an animal or fly. There's a lot of different religions around. When I was a little boy, I used to have asthma. I had a high fever. I had something else was wrong with me, but my mother was a praying woman. And I woke up and got out of bed and turned around and looked at myself laying in bed. I looked away from myself and looked out the window and saw people moving off, laughing and talking. And when I went to the window, I said, wow, man, I feel good. And I started to go out the window, and something or someone put their hand on my shoulder and told me it wasn't time for me to go. And I saw all these dominions of people just heading out. I said, well, they're having a good time, and it's beautiful out there. When I got older, people began to tell me, people with knowledge, the reason I had this experience because of lack of oxygen to my brain.
And I believe that's true. That whole near-death experience has been documented that when you start to pass out or pass on, your brain starts firing these neutrons and it starts to create this vivid imagery. Just like when you dream. You swear that when you dream it's real until you wake up. So I think that there has been some medical evidence to prove that none of us have died and came back nonsense. It's a done deal when you leave. You don't come back because there has been nobody in human record that has come back to say, I was over there for a while and I'm back home. So unfortunately, that's kind of a myth. And it's a hopeful myth.
It's a hopeful myth.
Yeah.
But in this hallucination, whatever you want to call it, I had the reality that everybody was heading east. And being brought up in the Baptist church, I wasn't taught that east was a holy direction. Mm-hmm. So when I got older, beginning to know different races of people who prayed to the east, I was confused because I figured this experience was the lack of oxygen to the brain. And it just confused me.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, none of us have a defined answer as far as this is exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I can say this, and I say this with sincerity. I hope that there is an afterlife because I would like to see my mom again.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was the centerpiece of our family. Mm-hmm. And it would be nice to be reunited with her if that's the case. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that there is an afterlife so we can be reunited with our loved ones because for most of us, when our mother passed, it's a turning point in our lives. It's like chapter 2. Mm-hmm. And, you would hope that
you see all your loved ones.
You see all your loved ones.
All healthy and all whole and pretty and like in the movies.
Yeah. So, I'm hoping that there is. And I'm not trying to be doubtful or negative, but I just don't know. I can't go with the Bible's reason or description of what's going to take place because the Bible is full of a bunch of confusing stories that were written by man. And we covered this whole topic on religion. That's one of our first shows. And of course, it ties in well with death because according to the Bible, it has all the answers that we seek as far as what's going to happen to me when I leave.
You have Dante's Inferno. You have that Greek and Roman afterlife, which is bits and pieces of the Bible. That Roman and Greek afterlife thing is like, I think people of different religions tie stories together.
Yeah, and that's basically what happened. I mean, I posed this scenario to people and they say, "You crazy," and I'm like, "No, I just want to have answers." And
you want to have, but you don't supposed to ask these questions.
Right.
You being a.
Because here's the scenario, and we talked about this off air the other day. You're married, and you're in love with your spouse, and that spouse dies an untimely death, and you mourn that person. Then you move on in life and find another person that you fall in love with, and you remarry. Now, the second person you marry, the love that you have for the first person doesn't compare because that was your first love. But unfortunately, they left untimely. Mm-hmm. You marry the second person, you're happy, but you're not as fulfilled as you are with the first one. So time progresses and you both pass on because it's 70, 80 years later or whatever, at the end of eternity. When you go to heaven, who do you hook up with? The first person you were in love with or the second one? And people laugh when I ask that question, but it's a legitimate question.
Well, a Muslim says you can have 77 wives or something, 700 wives in heaven.
Well, that's another issue. How many different religions? Because each religion have a different turn on what's going to happen to you.
Yeah. What little I know about the Bible, death has usually been used to keep people in a place.
Yeah.
It's a process of threatening people. You either going to hell or going to heaven.
Yeah, because none of us here can change that course. I mean, unfortunately, we are going to die, and no one looks forward to dying. No one looks forward to getting old and then your health start to decline because, when you get to that stage, and I'm not trying to sound depressing or make this depressing, but when you get to that stage where you can't take care of yourself and you're in a nursing home and you say to yourself, this is my last stop. It's not like I'm going to get through this and go back out there and go back to work or whatever. It's like your last stop. So the majority of those people that, like, when they lose their spouse and they've been married for 50, 60 years, they die like a year later.
A year later.
Because it's like, I have nothing else left to live for. All of my friends and family that I knew that was growing up are gone. And I'm at the stage in my life, and I'm 50 now, that I think like that because I'm looking through my record collection. Rick James, dead. The bass player for Slave, when that album came out, he was like 18, 19 years old in his 70s. He died 2 years ago. I'm watching TV. Andy Griffin dead. Don Knotts dead. It's like you start thinking like that, unfortunately, when you get a certain age.
But those people old enough to be our grandparents, though, you see.
Well,
but we remember them.
Exactly, we remember them from our childhood. And all these people are gone.
I'm got one tooth, and
because Don Rickles did a funny bit. He was talking about he's outlived all his people in his era, and he did that. It was all these people on the wall, dead. Almost dead. And he tried to make fun of it or light of it. And it's like,
the truth.
Yeah, but it's the truth. And that's kind of been his stick. It's the truth, but, people don't kind of want to accept it and swallow it. It's the Bible and what we've been given as far as visuals, because when you think of heaven, you see these stairs going up into the cloud.
Or a ladder.
Yeah, so you assume that. And when you go to hell, it's just the opposite. It's a dude in red skin and pitchforks sticking you and burning you through eternity. I mean, I really don't know. I'm not trying to make fun of religion, but there's just a lot of questions that aren't answered. Because I think like that. And here's another kind of thought that I thought.
You can, your brain, see, the devil's got a hold of your brain. That's
why
you think
I'm sinner. I'm terrible. Yeah. So.
No, you should be flogged.
But you think about this.
Flogged and then salted down.
Yeah.
You a heretic.
Think about this. From the point that man became man up until now. Well, let's just say this. Right now, living on this planet are billions of people. Yeah. Literally billions of people. Let's just say, for the sake of this conversation, 70% of them would ascend to heaven and the rest would go somewhere else. Just on that alone, that's a lot of people. And we're talking about, from the time that we were cavemen up until now, that's a whole lot of people. Where's a place that's going to house this many people? And someone told me this, and I'll let you take it. Well, your body won't be there, just your spirit. Okay, but here's the thing with that. Say, for instance, we were ghosts. You can't see us, and we ain't taking up no actual physical space, but you can hear us. Mm-hmm. Now, cram 2,000 people in this room that are ghosts. Wouldn't it be crowded? Even without your body, the presence of these other people talking in.
I guess it would. Well, if you're a ghost, I figure it would be like an energy matter. So it would be kind of condensed. You know, if you weigh 12,000 pounds, your energy matter, ghost matter would be the biggest one in the room.
Yeah.
You know, it could be any size from the tip of your finger to the tip of a pen or the size of a baseball.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is if you
understand
just
what you're
eliminate the space altogether,
Altogether.
you still got trillions and trillions of people in the area.
Right. But see, heaven's supposed to be that big, it could hold
I
a
know.
quadrillion souls.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
I mean, that got to be a super big place.
This is a super big place. But you're thinking logically.
That's true.
Obviously, God is not logic. But
We don't know.
He put all the universe together, and and the universe is run like a clock. It really does.
And the universe is vast. And
It's
I do
vast.
believe that there are other intelligent life form outside, actually inside of our solar system, and there are hundreds and thousands of other solar systems.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is we get the human heaven and the other guys get the other heaven. I mean,
But
I think
what-
like that.
what-
All of our perceptions are based on us. Man. I believe that we going somewhere. I hope so. And we really just don't know as far as the size or anything. We're making assumptions based on what we know, which is really nothing.
Nothing.
And unfortunately, some of us make stuff up just to tell a story.
That's why they had Jesus Christ died for man, for all his sin. He died for us. The ultimate gift is to give up your flesh, your life. For
But
another
here's
being.
something interesting about that, and it's funny you mentioned that. Let's just say this first, and then
That's
I'm
how
gonna get
we're
to the
supposed to
story.
be saved.
Say, for instance, I'm an actor, and in all the movies I've been in, kind of like Bruce Willis, because he's my favorite actor. Actually, he's never died in any, but he dies, and we feel sad because that's our hero. But guess what? In reality, he didn't die. He gonna be in another movie. So my thing is, as far as that whole death thing is, when you die, you don't come back. If you can come back, it's not that big of a sacrifice because
No.
you can come back.
No, but
So
that's why Jesus Christ was the only one that was.
that's why
Right.
that story kind of just something about that story don't make sense to me to say.
He's a demigod.
Yeah. So it's
You know what a demigod is?
yeah, but it's like
Hercules was a demigod.
Yeah, but
Zeus
it-
and them were Zeus was a real god.
but it's like there was
Oh,
nothing really given as far as a
right,
sacrifice because
he
you
was
came
a
back.
god, because he came
So
back.
it's
you're right.
like, what's the big thing about somebody got 7 lives, they give up 1 and they got 6 more?
Yeah.
Now you or I make a sacrifice, we ain't coming
They
back.
ain't coming back, but
Just like Martin Luther King, he fought for black people and just civil rights and equal all across the board, and he gave his life. He didn't come back, you
Nope.
know. So I always kind of felt that story was kind of weird.
well, self-sacrifice is always. It's like your mama saying, "Boy, I worked to get you them shoes, and I needed some shoes for myself, and now my feet are sore because I've been walking around these ragged shoes." So you feel guilty. Oh, she sacrificed for
Yeah.
me.
Most of us won't, or none of us will know what's going to happen to us when we leave because we don't come back to tell the story.
No, nobody has.
Yeah.
Except for Jesus, and he really didn't tell anybody about that. He was just back.
And that's if that story's true. And like I said, I'm not trying to throw salt on
No.
wounds or be negative, but there's a lot of stuff out there that for yourself, you can do your research and kind of determine, are these stories actual truth or are there stories of man? And I believe there's enough information out there, sadly, to say the majority of those stories are stories of man. I remember the very first funeral I went to was one of my best friends. His grandmother passed. And she was like a grandmother to us because after school, we would come over to his house and she would cook us lunch or whatever.
Good old days.
Very sweet woman, and she passed away. And my other friend that lived on the block, we went to the funeral together. And I was in my teens. And I held up pretty good until I got out the church and I lost it. And it was like, I tried to stay strong. I didn't want to cry, but it just got to me. And I think that happens to everybody,
Yeah.
that you don't want to go to funerals, I didn't want to go to my mother's, but there was no way that I was going to miss that. I would have never forgiven myself. But, death is a issue that most of us just basically, we fear it. We don't know what to expect. We can only hope the best, On that note, I turn it over to Joe.
And there are people who make millions and millions of dollars off of dead people.
Well, it's funny
Period.
you mentioned that because I've already instructed my loved ones when I die, don't make a fuss. Burn me, toss me,
Put you in a bag.
and take that $10,000 and spend it on the living. It doesn't make any sense to put me in a nice little casket and my body rots it out. It's insane, but that's because we've been given a nonsense sales pitch, and these people are preying on the people during the time of the bereavement or of grieving, and push this nonsense on them about, don't you want your loved one to be in the best casket? I don't care what I'm put in, okay? Take that money and party, put it in your bank account, live it, use it. So
it's against the law to bury your loved ones in the backyard.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand.
Well, it's a sanitary reason. You be stepping over dead bodies all over the place.
Well, they used to do it.
Same from the zombie TV
Lincoln
show.
Park used to be a graveyard.
Yeah. So don't let anybody rope you into that nonsense of feeling guilty that you should spend an extra $5,000 on a dead body.
On a dead body.
Because that's all it is at that point, is a dead body. Your loved one is no longer occupying that space.
Some people fillet their dead people. They take all the flesh off the bones and bury the bones. Some people take people and fold them up and put them in urn, the whole body into the decompose. And some people put the dead bodies out where the vultures can pick the bones clear. The world's tripped out. It really is.
Well, like I said, I personally don't care what happens to me. Save as much money as you can, because all you're doing is putting in the pockets of the people that run these funeral homes. That's it.
Yeah, well,
it got nothing to do with disrespecting the dead and not spending that money. Those people are spending your money. So don't let them spend your money. Spend your money. Well, what's interesting is, depending on where you live in the world, we have an interpretation of what takes place and what's sacred. Because in certain countries, cows are sacred. They don't eat them.
Cow.
And here we slaughter them. We eat them every day. We grow them or breed them to eat them. So in other countries they eat monkey brains. We don't eat them here.
Hey, monkey brain ain't too bad though.
Yeah. So
monkey meat ain't too bad.
Well, I guess if you're used to it.
The subject.
Yeah.
Well, monkeys died too.
Yeah.
Monkeys got souls. I don't know.
Now, according to the Bible, nobody has souls but us. The animals got screwed in the deal, and when it's over for them, there is no reprise.
But if animals had souls, we'd be cannibals then.
We already cannibals. We eat each other.
But if a cow don't have a soul, you can't be a cannibal.
I don't know.
A cow, you'd have to be a sentient being. You have to eat a sentient being to be a cannibal.
Okay. Well, I don't know about cannibalism. But the only thing I know is what's according to the Bible is animals don't have souls.
Right.
But on that note, because we've extended our time, and my production assistant is having a fake Fred Sanford heart attack over there, so we're gonna take him to the ER. But in the meanwhile, I hope this was an informative segment. And I'm your host, Morris Man, and my co-host
Joseph Spencer.
And until next time, keep thinking.